My name is Tone King. I'm actually the simulation and lab technician for the new Star Center here. And we're standing here in Suite 1, which is actually created for medical, surgical, as well as ICU for all of our undergrads and graduate students. So here, as you can see in here, we actually have a simulated patient. This actually is our mannequin. This is called SimMan. And he's actually equipped to actually simulate any type of human activity, as well as breathe. You can go check his breathing as well. And what I'm going to do is show you actually how to operate each room. So right now we're going to set up here. And to turn on the SimMan, you actually come over here on the left side of him and lift his gown up. You will see a button on the lower part of his side. You just flip that on. Just press that in. That'll turn on the mannequin. And as the mannequin turn on, you will actually hear him say, simulating started. As you hear that, then you can actually go here in the control room, which is actually wired for Suite 1. Okay, so now, once we in here, we can just open up the LEAP application. And once the application starts up, it would search for a simulator, and here you are here for the simulation man. You just double click on this. So I'm glad this is actually giving you this error. So when this gives you that error saying that it cannot connect to it, you actually just can go back and either go back and double click on it, or just restart the computer, and that will actually get you reconnected with the simulated man. All right, so just click on it, and then it should connect to the simulator. And sometimes when we get to this screen, it will say they cannot find a debriefing session. If it says it now, you just actually click back and double click on the link that says this computer, and then it'll start the debriefing system. As you see right here, it says can't find it, so click back. And then you see on the top one, it says this computer. Just click that. And then the session would actually load from there. And once the session starts, you'll always select manual. So now that the session is ready to run, you always click manual. And this is already set, so the only thing you have to do here is just click OK. And then you can just start the session. And after you start the session, your vitals will begin to run, and then you can just now go back into the suite and actually turn on the monitor for the patient. So let's go. So once we get back here into Suite 1, if the monitor is off, the power button is right here underneath the word for the brand, for the name of the current computer. Just press that, and then that'll turn on the monitor. All right, so this is a touch screen. So when you come here, just press on the patient monitor, and then that will actually connect to the simulator in the control room, and it will just show the vitals on the monitor here. All right, so once you get to this screen, only thing you have to do is just press each vital, and that'll give the actual vital signs. And then you can just start your simulation. And as for the facilitators will actually be inside of the control room. And they will actually just operate any type of vitals that they want to put in. You just actually click here and you can change the vitals here. You can also have someone to actually control what a vital for the sim man. If you want him to actually simulate coughing, you just double click on that and you will hear the mannequin actually cough, or you can actually have him be in pain. He can actually moan for a long time. Alright, so it's actually equipped for whatever your simulation is actually in need for. So other than that, you can actually give me a call. My extension is 3392. If you actually run into any other technical problems, then I can just come in and take over and get it back to working state. Alright, so here in Suite 2, this is set up for OB as well as Pediatric. So we actually have our sim mom here who actually simulates actual labor. Her power button is the same as sim man. It's located underneath the skin here. And hers is actually a button. So you just push that button in, the same as sim man. Then we can actually come over here after she's up. And this will be the computer. This will be the computer set up for sim mom. And it's the same way as sim man. So whatever you do for sim man, you do also for sim mom. Alright, so now we're in Suite 3, which is actually set up for our community health. And we actually have our sim junior inside of here just for our students to actually be able to simulate pediatric as well, but it's also for community health as well. So for our simulating mannequin here, the power button for the mannequin is actually on the pad here. So you just actually push the power button here on the top, and that will start up our simulating patient. As you can see him vibrate, and then you hear him cough, and then you can just turn on the sim pad. Then once you turn on the sim pad will automatically connect to the monitor for the simulating patient. And then it's the same way. The only thing difference is you're only going to be operating on the pad here. And this is also touchscreen, so you don't actually have to wait for the simulator to come up. You can just actually double click on that. But then once that opens up, you'll just have to wait for this to actually populate. So you actually see it. You can actually go into menu mode. And the same way as sim man and sim mom, you just click on healthy and then click on OK. And then you can start the simulation. So this one's a little bit easier than Suite 1 and Suite 2 because you're working directly off the sim pad here. And then, like I said, this is a touch screen, so you just double click on the simulation from Laerdal. And then once that come up, just click on patient monitor. And then it'll automatically connect to the sim pad, and we'll start the vitals for you. So now you can see that this is actually connected to the link box. Click on the link box, and then it will connect to the simulator. And then it's the same as 1 and 2, Suite 1 and 2. Just click on, touch the vitals so the actual vitals can read. And then that'll be it. Alright, so this is our Suite 4. This is actually set up for our OR and trauma room. And our nurse stand here is actually set up the same way as our sim junior. So the same thing. Only difference is the power button is set here for our nurse and underneath the speaker. Just press the power button there. Then our sim pad, once this actually turns on, our sim pad will be here. And you just turn it on the same way as our sim junior. After you hear a call, it'll connect to that, and we will connect it the same way as we did the Sim Junior, and then you'll be ready for your simulation. All right, so here in our debriefing room, it is set up for our students to actually be able to see what they were doing, get a little bit more used to operating with the mannequins and getting ready for the real world. So as you can see, you can actually turn on the monitor here, and each room is actually connected to each HDMI. So suite 1 was connected to HDMI 1, 2 is to HDMI 2, 3 is to HDMI 3, and 4 is to HDMI 4. Then you just click the input button and it automatically connects to, as you can see, that is our community health room, which is suite 3. And like I said, HDMI 1 is for 1, 2 is for 2, 3 is for 3, and 4 is for 4. And if you have any issues with the TV in here, just give me a call, 3392, or on my phone, 313-985-2001.